When the season goes wrong and the players start saging the dughouse, there seems to be like some sort of manifestation trying to change the vibes within the clubhouse for the team. We at Mariner Mojo, we've had a pretty rough past two podcasts, to put it lightly. So I'm here today to try and maybe reverse psychology the baseball gods into, I don't want to say it because it's gonna, it'll reveal my secret, but I'll just lead with this. All right, getting Gavin Lux, getting Hae-Sung Kim, that would have been awful for the Seattle Mariners. Like the package that the Reds gave up to get Gavin Lux, I wouldn't have seen it worth it for a guy that's an upgrade at your position in 2025. That's just not what I would be going for if I'm the Mariners in these trade markets. Same thing with Hae-Sung Kim. Less than $4 million annual average or around that. For the first 3 years, I get that the escalators maybe would have been too rich for Seattle, but I wouldn't have wanted to pay them that anyways. You know what I mean? And I definitely don't want you guys to subscribe. That's not something I'd be interested in. Definitely don't do that. Really wouldn't appreciate it if you guys did that. So what I'm saying is, right now with how the offseason is, I don't want them to re-sign Justin Turner. I really wouldn't want them to bring back a guy that had a pretty immediate impact on the clubhouse, it feels like. Brought in that veteran leadership. Who needs it? That's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. That stuff doesn't exist. That's not an actual thing, right? That's not really something that you can hold on to. You can't measure that statistic. Sure, when he came over, he did okay, I guess. Like it was largely okay, but who's to say that a 40-year-old hitter is going to do that same thing again? It's unlikely that he comes over and posts a 126 WRC plus for Seattle in 2025 like he did at the deadline in 2024. I just don't see it happening. So bringing Justin Turner back on a 1-year, $8 million deal that takes up like most of your payroll flexibility this offseason, which is like at what, 15? Yeah, I wouldn't be in. Not my cup of tea, Justin Turner, for 2025. Like, we've got Tyler Locklear. There's not at-bats at DH that you can really give up to Justin Turner. He wasn't great defensively at first, so you'd have to play him at first over Luke Raley sometimes. And I just, the DH problem. I really wouldn't like Justin Turner back for like 1 year, 8, escalators to 10, or anything. That seems silly, right? And continuing on here, upgrading at first base or like making an addition there, largely unnecessary. Another place of interest for the Mariners, maybe their bullpen. Brash is going to be back, sure. Santos, will he be healthy? Could be, but don't upgrade the bullpen. It's just they've shown year after year their ability to find and identify guys that make the team better just out of nowhere. I mean, going back to 2021? Sewald, Steckenrider, Sadler. 2022, I mean, Sewald was great again. Penn Murphy, Eric Swanson. Great years from those guys. Obviously, Brash turned into a reliever that year. 2023 was the year of Justin Topa. 2024 was the year of Colin Snyder. Trade that guy again. Trade him. Don't add. You don't need to. You've got enough arms in the pile already. They really don't need to go out there in the free agent market and kind of see what's available. I wouldn't do it personally if I was the Mariners. Because guys that are in free agency that are relievers, they've never needed to sign a guy, say like Andrew Kittredge. They've never needed to sign a player of Kittredge's his capabilities. Sure, he hasn't been largely healthy. I mean, 70 2/3 in 2024 for the Cardinals. Pitched to a 2.8 ERA. The expected ERA here is a little worrisome, but he'd be pitching in T-Mobile. Like, I feel like repeating this is fine, but for what it would cost in free agency, I just don't see it worth it for Seattle when you know you can get similar production out of a guy that you found off the street a month and a half ago. You know what I mean? Especially a guy that's a hometown kind of guy, born in Washington, Andrew Kittredge was. I really wouldn't want the Mariners to sign him this offseason for like a 1-year deal to maybe ride off his MLB career into the sunset. Not interested. And same thing goes for Jalen Beeks or just any lefty on the market like Scott Alexander, or if like they can convince Tim Meza to go pitch in one of the most pitcher-friendly ballparks in all of baseball. They don't need to sign some of these guys that posted a 3.92 ERA with Pittsburgh in the second half, and a 4.5 ERA over the entire season in 2024 while pitching half of it in Colorado. A half-win player, according to Fangraphs. You guys can't see it, but you don't need to see it because you know that the Mariners don't need to go out there and sign a guy like Jalen Beeks for a year. They have that at home. They don't need it. They don't need to address the bullpen, even though in this past season it was the worst bullpen we've seen of this winningest period. They don't need to address it. It'll be fine. It'll sort itself out. I don't think, especially if you trade someone from it, like adding to that after that, it's just kind of like, okay, then why'd you trade the guy in the first place? You know what I mean? So definitely don't go out there in the free agent market and assess kind of like what's going on there. And definitely don't go check out, say, like the Rockies for picking up a guy like Seth Albertsons or Victor Vodnik in a salary dumping trade where you send off Mitch Haniger to the Rockies or something. Or maybe even a team that kind of needs to start spending some money in the Miami Marlins, right? Like, what is this lineup? It's horrendous. Except for Connor Norby. He's pretty cool. Xavier Edwards is pretty cool too. But, like, they need to spend a little bit of money. They haven't spent a single dime this offseason. Sending them Mitch Haniger immediately puts them $17 million in the positive as far as spending. That's a move that the Marlins should make. You know what I mean? Like, that feels right up their alley. And if you can go, say, get like an Anthony Bender or an Andrew Nardi in a deal where you're salary dumping Mitch Haniger, if I'm the Marlins, I'm doing that 100%. But for the Mariners, like, banking on going out and assessing the reliever market and trades, eventually their luck's going to run out. You know what I mean? I would not trade, especially salary dumping Mitch. That just feels so disingenuous to what he's done for the ball club, if that makes sense. And relying on their bounce back, it's not as, I'd say, far-fetched as it seems. So trading Mitch Haniger and something else, I guess, for Bender or Nardi. If I'm the Marlins, I'm like, yes. I'm pounding the table, yes. If for whatever reason Jerry and Justin receive that phone call, I hope they hang it up immediately. Like, I would not want any of these moves that I've laid out for the Mariners offseason because, frankly, the team's fine how it is as it stands right now. Like, adding Turner, that veteran presence, more depth on your bench, like, let the young guys play at some point. And then the bullpen, injuries aside, like, they've figured it out the past couple of years. Bullpen, I mean, it wasn't as good necessarily in 2024 as it was in the previous years. And I wouldn't say that's necessarily a testament of their ability to go out there and bring in guys that really affect the bullpen in a positive manner. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but I think where they're at with their bullpen's probably okay. Don't add to it. And if you trade someone from it, great. You get the most out of that guy. And definitely do not dump Mitch Haniger in a salary dump through anybody this offseason. Not worth it. Not worth it for the Seattle Mariners heading into the 2025 regular season. I appreciate you guys watching this. I hope you know that it was sarcasm. And go Mariners.